Yeah.
So, the man, the myth, the legend, that is Callum. How are you feeling, mate? How are you doing? How are you today?
Good, good. It's been a good couple of months. It's been my journey has progressed massively, thanks to you.
Yeah.
Um, I came with the intention of one getting confidence up, and two, just like exploring everything and exploring every single option, which at that moment of time wasn't clear to me. Which I feel like now everything's kind of like, I don't want to say falling into that, but everything's like slowly like getting into place.
Oh, mate, yeah. Well, let us touch upon that though to start off with, Cal, the start point. So, what were the issues that you were facing, mate? What were the things that you were really struggling with? Back before the program, what were the problems you had with your self confidence, your clarity? I know that obviously you're, currently in the military, and what were your struggles you were having to really focus on what you needed to do?
So it was more of like one speaking up, like when the time needed, because uh, I, I could have like changed an incident which happened in the past
Yeah,
where I could have spoke up, and it didn't. So like making sure that my point of view has been addressed and make sure that's clear, which is now
yeah,
everyone now really kind of like turns to me like, oh, what do you think? Uh, Two was to change the way that I think about life. I was prioritizing just like the little things, and now I see like a massive bigger picture.
oh, mate, 100%. Yeah,
I also made a quote. I don't know where it came from. I was me and my missus were in Sea World, so I've got like a little side job, and it's like stock trading and doing stuff like that. And it's take little wins often, so you can apply that not just to like trading or fitness. You can apply it to everything.
we talk about that quite a lot, don't we? It's like instead of worrying about the big wins and like only focus on those, if you're focused more on the stuff that's going to get you, to move forward, like you said, apply it, those little wins. Those are what really actually matter. But mate, that's awesome that you've sort of come up with that. That's brilliant.
Yeah, so it's like I don't. It's like there's a I forgot what it is. Um, there's an interview which happened with a Navy SEAL, and it's about like making your bed every morning.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
so it's like if you do make your bed every morning, you would accomplish the first task of the day. So that's task one of the done. And then if you do like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different tasks, then all of a sudden you've got like a small, big task done, and that's
Yeah,
only took you like what, half an hour, rather than just like bottling everything off, waiting for that big win of the day, and then just taking that, rather than instead of like worrying about just making that big. So I'm going to refer back to structure, and just so it's like, just because that's better for me to understand it. So it's like if you take 30 quid, 30 quid, 30 quid, 30 quid, 30 quid, then all of a sudden you've made like what, 200 quid, rather than just like not like cashing out or not making anything like physically and just waiting for that massive lump sum. You've also got that to fall back on, all the small little wins,
yeah,
just in case something does go tits up. And like when you are waiting for that big win, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get that same amount of money or that same amount of goal, as long as it doesn't matter if it's in small steps or it's one big sum. So I say take little wins often, because if by chance at the end of the day and it's not your day, then you can always look back on them little wins, rather
boom,
than
boom. And what
wishing that, rather than at the end of the day wishing that you've actually took them little wins at the end of the day.
And on that, Callum, like, what would you say? So, inside of our program, I know that obviously you've had tons of wins, but what have been some of the big wins for you? So, obviously, I know we talked about little wins then, but what are the big wins for you from the program? What's been great about it? What have you really enjoyed?
So one of the one was my weight. So we both know that I was not underweight, but I was roughly around about 50, 56, 56-ish. And
Okay.
now I've gone up massively. Uh, no longer have abs, which is a good and a bad side. So, but I'm trying to gain a lot of muscle, so I feel physically better.
Yeah.
Growing a tash as well, which makes.
Brilliant.
I
Brilliant.
wish I hope it makes it look a bit more grown up, because everyone asks me in work, oh, does your parents know that you're in the military? Just so
Nice.
um,
Nice.
yeah, so I spoke about being out and exercise, needing to address stuff. So I now speak, obviously I speak in my mind was like, oh, this needs to be done, said, and then I think about what I need to say, and then I say it rather than just like, yeah, this needs to be done,
Yeah.
and just not saying anything. And now I make sure that my point gets heard, so the other guys at the top does like listen to, and then they can take into account whether they use it or not. That's their choice. But I feel a lot better rather me getting my point across rather than just leaving it and nothing happens.
Yeah, mate, I think that comes down to confidence, doesn't it, really? And like,
Yeah.
would you feel like this is taking your confidence to a new level? Like, is that been a reality for you, Cal?
Yes, of course. More of at the start, like I said earlier, a whole different person.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I spoke about my teeth again. Again, that's my own change, which is brilliant. I've always wanted to do that ever since I was young. Just never had the option to now. So now, spoke up. Something's happening, then give it what a couple of months, a year, and it's going to be solved. Rather get something sorted at the beginning, rather than waiting for it to like eat yourself up inside and then get it sorted. It's better to get stuff done early rather than late.
That's perfect. That's perfect. And like logistically inside the program, Cal, a lot of guys are going to ask this, like, what's been the best part about it for you? What have you enjoyed the most about, you know, the plan, education, accountability, community support? What's been the big things that have actually helped you increase your confidence? Like, how has this helped, if that makes sense?
So when I first joined, I a lot of the new guys will probably agree with me on this one. Everyone will think, oh, it's all about just me doing stuff to get my confidence, but it's not about that. It's about one coming to you whenever you need to, and the brotherhood as well. So there's what people need to realize is it's not just you. There's 30 other guys, all of the same issues, all the reason why we came to you in the first place, and we all can just speak freely.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to go into detail, but there's a problem a few days or a week ago, and everyone instantly was, yeah, bang, 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 giving them advice. I gave quite a lot of advice on the guys who's joined the military. So it's mainly the brotherhood of people. If you've got an issue, then speak up, and instantly there's people all around you, rather than not addressing the issue, then it's going to eat you up inside. So it's mainly the brotherhood and mainly the support that you like other people won't have. That's what I've felt like impacts me the most.
I think that is such a big deal, isn't it? Because like we've talked about it before, when you maybe run into the problems or any issues mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, if you don't have someone to ask the question to get the answer, it's very difficult to actually get an answer to then get the solution to the problem. And that's quite a big thing, isn't it, Cal? Like the people around you are also who are going to inspire you or help you to move forward. And like, you know, like you've said, it is awesome sometimes when you look at the group and there are like 30 odd plus lads now that are like constantly helping each other, constantly like pushing each other. And it's just brilliant, mate. And like, do you think that, you know, looking at this, Cal, I know that you mentioned before, maybe you were in a bit of a, you know, negative place with your self-confidence, with your self, you know, reliance and all that sort of stuff. And like, now that you're at the opposite end of that, do you feel like this has been able to, you know, in some way, shape or form, change the path of your life, Cal, of where you're going, if that makes sense?
Oh, of course. I'm only 22.
Yeah.
Just working with you for a couple of months, that I can apply that for 10, 20, 30 years down the line.
Boom.
And I can always rely back to what I once was in January, this time early in the year. Then I can think back to what I am now. So I can apply everything that I've learned, and two, just to take on everything on board of like, either if it is physical or mental, I can just apply it and help me throughout my career, throughout my life.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the thing, like you said about those little wins, is it's applying those over a long period of time, and that will put you into that right position. And what I wanted to say, Cal, is like anyone who's watching this or anyone who's listening to this or, you know, in some platform, what would you say to anybody else or any other lad who's thinking about joining this or who's thinking about it, Cal?
So I was in the same headspace as you. It took me quite a while to join, but if you like just listen, you don't even ask any questions. If you just listen to 2 or 3 bits of advice Alex gives you, and you're already wondering what's this guy about? What should I join? Just listen to him for not even 30 seconds. And if you've still got the question, should I join? The answer is yes.
Boom, mate, that's awesome. To be fair, no one's ever said that. Like, that's pretty cool. And like on that as well, like, you know, a lot of the guys will, you know, they'll say like, oh, like, how have you found it, Cal? Like, so obviously I work with like Battle Ready Fuel, Battle 360, Ollie Otterton, some of those guys. How have you found it having some of those guys come in as guest speakers, and, you know, the rest of the guys, as well as the Brotherhood and all the stuff? Like you said, I think a lot of people don't realize, like, this isn't just me, like, and someone else, because that'd be pointless, wouldn't it? But like, how have you found all those guest speakers and everything like that? How have you found that, Cal?
Yeah, so a massive part of me was joining the military, and I was always reading military books, I'm getting I've got Ollie's book, I've got Fox's and his book, and actually being able to meet and speak, like, to get my point across and actually listen to was it should, you can't really describe, like, being able to just like speak to someone that you've seen on TV, or you've got someone that you don't know, but you feel like you know them because you've like heard so much about them, and just being able to speak to them one to one
Yeah,
is it's a game changer. Like, it brings so much to you.
yeah, it's awesome. Like the Ben Williams chat was really, really good, wasn't it? And like you said, it's all those little combinations of things that then push you forward. But mate, you've been an absolute legend. Like, you fucking crushed this. Like you said, you put on tons of, like, you know, muscle mass. Like, you know, you increase your confidence. You are literally what I wanted from the team. So big one as well, Cal. If anyone's watched this, mate, do you mind if they reach out to you and speak to you about your time in the program? Or, like, is that all right if they want to ask you any questions? Are you happy for them to
Yeah,
ask?
well, you've got my email or my phone number anyway, so just drop it down below, and then all my means, I'll get back to you as and when I can.
Nice, good man. Awesome, Cal. I'm going to start recording there. So anyone who's watched this back and obviously watched Callum's absolutely amazing journey, like, you know, has gone from, like you sort of said, dude, the best way to describe it is like underconfident, undersure of yourself, maybe underweight, to like holding your own, confident, larger, you know, more self-esteem. And it's genuinely awesome. And you will fly with the next 5-10 years, which is fantastic, really. But yeah, boom. Right, anyone who's watched this back, drop us a message if you feel like you want to do the same, and we'll talk you through how we're in. I'm going to stop recording there.